President Al-Assad receives a delegation of Turkish parties and figures headed by Chairman of Homeland Party, Dr. Doğu Perinçek. Syrian Arab army units maintain full control over 101 gas well in Palmyra countryside and inflict heavy losses on terrorists in several governorates. The Iraqi army retakes Hamrin district east of Tikrit and advances towards Diyala Salah ad-Din. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Yarado Krikorian with the news in English. President Bashar al-Assad today received a Turkish delegation comprising political, economic and party figures belonging to Turkish parties and establishments headed by the chairman of Homeland Party, Dr. Doğu Perinçek. President Bashar al-Assad today received a Turkish delegation comprising political, economic and party figures belonging to Turkish parties and establishments headed by the chairman of Homeland Party, Dr. Doğu Perinçek. Syrian Arab army units have maintained control over the 101 gas well in Palmyra countryside after eliminating a number of ISIL terrorists. Huge losses have also been inflicted on armed men in Skhirij, Anq al-Hawa and Al-Rastan as ISIL hideouts were destroyed in Rahum in Homs suburbs. In Daraa countryside, several terrorists were eliminated in Tafas, eastern Karak and north of Nsib border crossing point. American intelligence chief James Clapper has said that 180 Americans had left for Syria to join ISIL and that 40 of them have returned home. Clapper claimed that priority for the U.S. and its allies at present is to combat the ISIL terrorist organization. American officials expressed concern over possible terrorist attacks that the Americans who had fought among ISIL ranks would perpetrate upon their return to the U.S. Washington and its allies admit that more than 20,000 foreigners from more than 90 states have joined the ranks of terrorist organizations in Syria. In a new evidence of U.S. support for terrorism in Syria and in a further step taken by Washington in this regard, retired American General John Allen, in charge of coordinating the moves of the so-called international alliance led by his country against ISIL, has declared that the U.S. will protect what Washington calls the moderate opposition. In a word at the Atlantic Council Research Center in Washington, Allen said, "We have a clear project to train and equip them with the most sophisticated weapons and also to protect them in due time." Allen's statements were made a few days after the U.S. Defense Department declared intention to send 1,000 American soldiers to train terrorists in special camps hosted by Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Turkey. Welcome back. Lebanese soldier was killed in an operation to arrest a wanted man in Bhanoun of Akkar district, northeast of Tripoli. An army force clashed with the so-called Abdurrahman Ahmed Tamer during an arrest operation. An exchange of gunfire resulted in the killing of the soldier and the wanted man. The Lebanese army continued to implement the security plan in a number of regions, arresting several wanted men and suspects. In the last few weeks, the Lebanese army fulfilled several achievements, controlling the borders and preventing the infiltration of the terrorists from Arsal terrains. In Iraq, the Iraqi army maintained control over the mountainous area of Hamrin, east of Tikrit in Salah ad-Din Governorate, killing many ISIS terrorists, including suicide bombers. The army reached the positions of the terrorist organization ISIS in the environs of Al-Buriash, Al-Bu'aisa and Al-Butalha villages in Salah ad-Din outskirts after fierce battles, killing dozens of ISIS terrorists and forcing others to flee towards Hamrin district, which the army prepares to storm during the forthcoming hours. Also, a number of ISIS terrorists were killed and others were wounded in army airstrikes targeting the positions south of Tikrit. The army meanwhile repelled several terrorist attacks south of BG district, killing many terrorists and destroying 2 of their vehicles. In a related context, Iraqi sources revealed that ISIS terrorists have killed 11 of their leaders on the backdrop of their withdrawal from the ongoing battles in Tikrit into Al-Hawija district in Kirkuk. ISIL terrorist organization has disclosed that one of its members, an American, has carried out a suicidal terrorist attack in Salah ad-Din Governorate in Iraq. The French news agency quoted the so-called ISIL's Al-Bayan radio as saying that the American Abu Dawood has blown up his booby-trapped truck in a group of Iraqi soldiers at the outskirts of Samarra city south of Tikrit yesterday, without mentioning any additional details about the terrorist or publishing his photo. It is believed that this declaration by ISIL aims at raising the deterioration morale of its members following the achievements realized by the Iraqi troops in the governorate of Salah ad-Din. Finally, talks between the Iranian and American delegations resume in Munich in Switzerland today, chaired by Foreign Minister Mohammad Jawad Zarif and Secretary of State John Kerry, with a view of discussing ways to reach a nuclear agreement regarding the Iranian nuclear file. The talks are held on the eve of a meeting between the 2 countries' ministers and delegations with the EU Foreign Policy Assistant Commissioner, Federica Mogherini. Zarif reiterated Tehran's stand that negotiations are the only option before the world to settle the nuclear file. He said the current round of talks provides an opportunity to discuss all the pending technical issues. He pointed out that his talks with Kerry will also cover the political files and the urgent lifting of the sanctions imposed on Iran. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Kassam, but after a short break.